Today I am, doing a math lesson today. I thought you guys would enjoy this. And today we're going to be doing a pretty simple thing. And it's a pretty easy thing too, as we're going to be learning a lot about math today. So, if you know me, which I don't know how many of you guys do, we're going to be trying something a little bit. Fractions! Let's go. So, if you have a 1 on 4, plus, let's go for 1 on half. What does that equal to your actual exposure? Because if we look at our second grid that we have it equals around what on 4. Now, if we look at the exact examples, we actually want to turn this into a different number. So if we have another frame, I'm so sorry. We have another frame like this one, perhaps. You can actually turn 1 on 2 into half of 4. And the reasons because of this is we have to put both of them on the same denominator. So your question ends up being, what's 1 on 4 plus 2 on 4? If that makes sense to anyone. And then we're going to say it equals, like, you can basically do the rest of the math yourself, I'm assuming, and that would equal you 3 on 4. And if you guys want another one, let me just go on to another better example by removing these other ones and talking about an entirely different example. Okay, stay with me, please. Please stay with me. So if we look at these frames, and yeah, we're going to start with an entirely different problem. What if both fractions aren't on the same denominator? It's kind of hard to put them together, right? Well, let's go for 1 on 2 slash, I don't know, 1 on 6. Okay, now this is technically you can put this on the same denominator. It's not hard. And again, we're going to put that as the 1 is going to turn into, it's going to end up being, this is going to equal 3 on 6. Now, if you can explain why this is, I'd like to actually hear, and leave your comments down below. How do you get from 1 to 6 to 3 to 6? Quite simple answers that you're putting them on the same denominator. So your question, again, ends up being 3 on 6 to 1 on 6. And that's pretty much what we're plussing together. And that should give us the denominator of 4 on 6. Okay, now I did promise. I'll promise in fraction where both fractions cannot be put on the same because they're two different. And to do that, I'm going to be picking numbers that you physically couldn't. Now, let's go on something that they both have in common. Let's go with a thing that I think we can both agree makes sense. Which is kind of hard, saying everything else. Bar. So, let's look at the math here. And let me be honest, we're going to have to multiply it. Now, I'm just going to make a random number. 5 on, again, this is kind of a poor written 5, so I'm going to try again. 5 on 2 on 5. 2 on 5. Plus, it's basically a 1, so if you want to change that per se, we could easily go 9. Now, how they go on the same is a little bit of an easier strategy. If it's 10 on 10, it's a pretty simple question. How do we put these on? well, we have to find which two of these numbers have the exact same denominator. And that's kind of more easier than simple. 5, 10, 15, 20. And I think we can both agree. That's also very terrible. I think we can both agree to say that 10, 5, 10 can both be put on 20. So that is our main denominator. Well, this is 5 is going to be put on 4, like anything else you would do on average. It is going to be like that. We are going to be doing 5 times 4. Then we're also going to be putting 2 times 4. Now, I'm also going to be pausing for 1 second just to give some actual math advice out there, as my lesson here today is math-based. I just don't know. I felt like teaching some actual fractions. So, let's look at the actual science behind this. If we go to my calculator, which is actually pretty self-standard, we're going to say 9 times 2 would equal us 18, right? So you have 18 on 20, which, again, kind of reasonable. And then we all know how this goes up. We all know how this is supposed to end up. We're going to be changing this to a more fractionate. And that gives us 18 on 20. But also, what does 2 plus 4 mean? Again, we have to look at this. 2 times 4 would equal 8. So we have 8 on 20. A pretty weird number, I know. So then we plus this together. So what is our answer exactly? Well, you get the answer, and your answer is kind of simple. It is, in fact, it's a 1. Now, hear me out. It's a 1, 6 on 20. If we look at this from a numbers perspective. And that's because the 8 going into 18 makes it 26. But since we can't have that, we have to turn that 20 on 20 into a 1. Then putting the rest of this number, the rest of the number 8, which is 6 left, onto 20, which gives us 6 on 20. 1, 6 on 20. This is a pretty simple subject, if I do say so myself, and it was kind of fun, all things considered. So, if we look at the abilities of this lesson, what did you guys learn today? If you guys want me to cover more of this topic that I didn't cover last time, please let me know. I would enjoy doing a lot more complicated fractions. And if you guys want me to do minus fractions, that is next on my list, let me know. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.